Alright, so now the block's all clean, we're going to start final engine assembly. Alright, so we got a little bit of oil on the cap, 3 Q's hips taped together, some oil on the crank. Make sure everything that's going into this motor from this point forward is as clean as an angel's ass. So, some oil on there, some oil on the bearing. Some oil inside the bearing. Some oil everywhere. I'll tell you one thing, metal can never have enough oil. Alright, after you get the oil on there, slide this in. Just like that, put the crank in. Next, piston. Alright, so this is the piston we're using. This is an ARC rod, which uses ARP bolts. Now, if anytime you use an ARP bolts, I suggest you use this Arp Assembly Lube. Just a little bit. Little dab will do ya. Just put those into the rod bolt holes. Again, oil is the key to engine longevity, cleanliness of your oil. So both sides of the bearing, install your bearing into the groove and make sure it's pushed all the way over. You can see there's like a little groove right here, and you just want to make sure it's pushed in completely to that and down. Put a little bit more, since this was already assembled a while ago, we'll just go ahead and slap a little bit more oil on the wrist pin. Now we're ready to install the piston. We'll put a little bit on the rings. And we'll also put a little bit in the bore. Just everywhere. Alright, now we're going to install the piston. It helps significantly here if you have a ring compressor. You can do it without a ring compressor. Kind of getting it in with your fingernails and working it in, which some people love to do. Sometimes this thing gives me a hard time, you know. Basically, it's just a little mechanism here. Gotta get on the piston. I like to position this towards the top if there's an arrow. So I like to put this on the top and just tighten the shit out of it. Until you just can't get it to click anymore. I'm a big guy, so it's not that hard for me. Alright, so now that that's in there, get something that's got a soft end on it, you know, rubber mallet or something wood. I use this wrench here, it's coated in rubber. And just kind of make sure that this is perfectly straight down here. And then just tap it in. if everything goes smoothly, it goes right in, like that. And then put your ring compressor away when you're done with it. 5 seconds of fame is over. That's away. Next, connecting the rod to the crank. Alright, when connecting the rod to the crank, this is a very important part of the job. So, let me reposition this. Can you see? Can you see? You're probably good right there-ish. Alright. So, just kind of while pushing the piston down, convince it to go onto the rod. And then just rotate it so basically the bolts are at the bottom over here. Take your cap, again, pull the bolts out, take your bearing out, give this a quick wipe. Alright, oil, both sides of the bearing. Oil in the rod. Again. Line these up, the notches. Push it in. Make sure it's pressed over into the notch. Goes down and that way. So make sure that notch there is lined up. Nice. Dip it down. I'll just dry fit it on that. That's going to be perfect. Okay, again, these are Arp bolts. So you really want to make sure you use a good lubricant when these are installed. I've already installed the or applied. Try to be so fancy when you make these videos. I've already used the Arp lubricant when dressing the rod that you saw me do already. So you get these in hand tight. And then we're going to torque them in. Alright. It's almost there. It's hand tight. This one's hand tight almost. As long as you make sure the arrow on the piston's down and you get the dipper down, and you'll know if your rod's installed wrong. It'll look, you know, all wonky and stuff, so. Alright, now, installing the rod bolts, you gotta torque them in. You gotta use a torque wrench, okay? I'm pretty sure we start off at like 18, 20, 22, 26. Alright, you gotta keep notes of everything. That's so important. 18, 22, 18, 20, 22, 26. So, we've already torqued this down once. So this is going to be the second time torquing this down. Alright? Everything's already been clearanced. Now we're just doing the installation. This is a 5/16 12 point. You guys know this shit. This ain't nothing you haven't seen before. Alright, my torque wrench itself is dirty. This is the holy area right now. Anything that goes into this area is now got to be 100% immaculate. That's, you know, one of the most important things is just cleanliness through this entire process. And just going through the steps correctly. Alright. So, we're going to set this wrench here. Harbor Freight torque wrench. Now we're going to set this to 18 foot-pounds and do our first click. So it's 15, 16, 17, 18 foot-pounds. Tighten it up. Just going a little snug. I'm not even going to click it yet. Alright, now I'm going to get this one to click. And we're going to do the top one. Alright, so we're at 18. Now we're going to go to 20. Now we're going to go to 22. Now we're going to go to 26. Alright. So we're at 26 foot-pounds on the rod. Okay. Now, cam. Oh, lifters. So, go through this again. So you guys remember the steps: clean, oil, install. Clean, oil, install. Just want to get my camshaft ready before I put those in, because they might want to slide out on me. So the same thing goes for this. Clean. Now, whenever you're building a performance engine, this is basically a really high performance engine. This has gapless rings. This has, you know, a really big camshaft. All due respects. They can get bigger. But the ramp design on this one is incredibly fast. I'll show you the lobes. 108-degree lobe separation, 335 lift at the lobe. And I'm running this with 3-to-1 ratio rockers, which gives me another, it's giving me a net of $399 lift. So 400 lift. So you just lubricate everything. Have to lubricate it. I'm gonna need you to move over. Alright, so now we rotate the engine over and we look for our dimples, our alignment dimples. Then we can put our lifters in. Then we align our cam. Now, people ask me, when aligning the camshaft, they say to you, do you align it when it's... Let me show you what I'm talking about. Let me clean my hands off. Now, when aligning the camshaft, what you want... I don't know where the camera is on this. Alright, so you want these dots aligned before you push it in. Okay? So line the dots up, then push the cam in. Okay? So if you do it that way, that's how you know, whoop, you're aligned. A little bit more oil on everything. Some up there on the rod, just everywhere. Oil, oil, oil. All right. It's time for the side cover gasket. Where is my side cover gasket? No. Just basically put it onto the dowels. Push it on. Oh, this gasket's broken. That's fine. Pull this camera back. Get this on here. Now we'll put on one of our side covers. Alright, now your side cover, when putting it on, just like in the case, make sure the bearing is removed. Make sure your governor is removed. And then again, make sure everything is clean, 100% clean before installing this. I've already taken this outside and sprayed it down and done everything like that. Blown it over there. Just go over it one more time. sure everything is real clean. Alright, now, after doing that, you're going to have your cam going in, so make sure you do your cam journal. Might as well do the bearing again. This bearing's not going to have nothing in it. Alright. This is a nightmare. Alright. So, just kind of slide it in. You're going to have a couple of dowels you got to deal with. Make sure you get your cam on. Now this side cover, it's either one of those, I've either had it go right in easy or not go. And since this gasket's kind of haywire, I'm going to put a bolt in there just to kind of hold that in place. Let's see. Yeah, it's in. Just like that. Let's get a 10mm. We'll zap them on, and then we'll torque them down. Of the bolts. All right. Just get them started. I need more. Oh, I got some on the table. So we'll get all these in, and then torque it down. Alright, so you take this 5/16 off from the rod. We can put on the 10mm. Set this to, I think it's 19 foot-pounds. Yeah. So we'll go to 17, and then do 17, 19. So we got 17. Stand up. Let's take this extension off. Get all these torqued down. We're at 17 foot-pounds. We'll get this to 17 and we'll bring it up to 19. So we're at 17. Now we'll take this and bring it up to 19. Alright, so we're officially at 19 foot-pounds all around. Now we'll take and we'll install our dipsticks. We take this off. Actually, we can leave this on until we put oil in it. Again, just make sure everything's clean. And then put the front oil fill back in. All right, now we're ready. This is the lower end. Bottom end complete. I'll do another video on the top end.